Welcome back to Couple Wisdom. My name is Deborah. We're going to talk about cheating and how should we respond to it, whether with forgiveness, whether with timeout, which means emotional timeout, or walking away.
I need the elders to hear me loud and well, especially the religious ones. If my husband cheats on me, I'm leaving and I'm filing for divorce. There is no working it out. There is no let's go to therapy. No, if he cheats, I'm leaving. We no longer live in a world where a woman has to have a husband to get basic things like a bank account. Matter of fact, majority of the women are at home taking care of the kids, being a homemaker. No, they're in the workforce and working till retirement or past retirement. I'm leaving my husband if he decides to cheat on me. I remember one time I was in a group full of young people, and there was an elder talking to us, and she was like, young people, marriage is hard. You're going to go through trials and tribulations. And it's very, very, very important for you to remember, you don't leave your husband unless he's beating you. What? Out of all the things that a man could do horribly, the only reason I get to leave that man is if he's beating me? No, I'm not. I don't agree. I could write a list of things that I would leave my hypothetical husband for.
Oh, hypothetical.
I could do it. I'm going to do it.
Here I'm thinking this lady is married. You were talking about hypothetical. Oh my goodness. And your future husband's going to look at this on TikTok and think twice because the nature of men, the fact is that the majority of women are going to go through this in your relationship, and you probably have. And if you don't understand why, it's because you think you should buy the book, my book, Stop Talking to Serpents, The Woman's Guide Back to Biblical Marriage, because I go into the reasons of why most women will encounter this scenario of a man desiring to have more than one woman in his life. He should marry the woman. He should not cheat in sense of fornicate, right? Have sex with another woman outside of the marriage covenant, because that is fornicating. He needs to marry her, but he can have more than one marriage covenant. He can have more than one wife. Welcome to Couple Wisdom. My name is Deborah, and I like to talk about biblical marriage. And biblical marriage involves a lot of discussions around cheating, because it involves also the man's prerogative, his rights to, if he wishes, he doesn't have to have more than one wife. Now, he can stay with one. That's called monogamy, but he has in the Bible the biblical right to act like David and Abraham and Moses and Jacob and so many other righteous men who took on more than one woman as their wives, and they built their empire with that. They built their homes with that, right? And that is not being taught anymore. And because it's not being taught anymore, we have young women like this who are not even married yet, planning to leave their husbands for the man's innate desire built in to have more than one, to expand, to be fruitful, and to multiply. Adam was commanded to do. And in order to be fruitful and multiply, he means that he sometimes has to take on another wife when he reaches the desire, the capacity to maintain, he wants to expand, and he does that, right? And in order to do that, they have the natural desire in them, the sexual drive to look, to see, to then contemplate and proceed righteously in doing so, right? Righteously is the key. That's what they should be doing, righteously. But irrespective of that, if a man, and you're married to the man, desires to have another person in his life, a woman in his life, and he fornicates with her. Fornicates means outside of marriage has sex. It's not about you. It's not like he's violating his covenant with you, right? Your marriage to him is a separate thing, and as his potential marriage to this other woman. And that's why I keep on repeating it, because sisters innately want to break up their marriages, break up their relationship with the man, and just burn it down before they have a chance to know and learn about biblical marriage. I say this because I have friends, I have cousins, I have family, I know so many women who have used that as an excuse to destroy their homes and to now disrespect their husbands and to look down at him. Now, I can say that you can be disappointed when a man is just fornicating, hooking up, and doing all that stuff without getting married, right, to the other woman. Of course, it's not a righteous way to do it, but it's not about you. And I keep on bringing up the example about David, because when David had sex with Bathsheba and committed that affair, his other wives are not in the story saying that they're going to go burn the house down and divorce him. And he had several other righteous wives at the time. I think around 6 of them he had before he met Bathsheba. And when the prophet Nathaniel came to correct him, he corrected him only at the point telling him that he committed adultery because he took Uriah's wife, the one wife that Uriah had, and he took her. And that's when he committed adultery. Not about the other wives that he took righteously. That was not adultery, because adultery is based on the marriage status of the woman. If the woman that the man is sleeping with, your husband is sleeping with, is a single woman, it's not adultery. He should marry her though, or he should approach her father, and ask for permission to take her in. And that's his business, not your business. But this is the way the Bible talks about it. But you have no right to be jealous, number one. You have no right to automatically go and say you're leaving him and you're all upset about it because the world is telling you to respond this way. And I'm showing these videos because this is how deeply ingrained it is in us that before this lady even is married, before she even goes further, she's going to plan ahead of time to leave her husband. And she feels like this is making me feel like my standards are so high. You know, I'm so entitled to a monogamous relationship. I'm so entitled to be the princess of this relationship that I don't want any other woman in my man looking at any other woman. And so if he does, she's already planning to leave. And that, my dear, is how you should not even go into a relationship with that attitude, because you will eventually meet that fear of yours. The very fear that you're looking, you're dreading is going to happen to you. And it maybe has. If you're looking at the show, you've probably gone through many relationships where the man has stepped out, showed interest, flirted with the concept of having another woman in his life. And because you've been indoctrinated in monogamy, you've already broken up and left and have a pile of regrets and a pile of bitterness towards men because of this. And the pattern retreats because you don't understand men and you don't understand marriage and biblical marriage.
As a Christian woman, if your husband cheats on you, you have two options. Is either you forgive him or you walk away. Probably you are led to forgive him. It's okay. You can forgive and trust God to fix the marriage if you want, because the Bible tells us that infidelity is enough reason to walk out from the marriage. However, if you allow yourself to be moved by this new trend of paying back, then you've missed it, because the Bible tells us that our body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, not a tool to pay back. You can't cheat back as a punishment to your husband. If you do that, that means you don't value yourself and you don't value God. I know you are hot, but you must understand that your temple, your body is God's temple, and you can't mess it up because you are hot. You need to carry yourself with dignity and honor. This is where God dwells. Okay? Please don't give yourself cheaply to anybody because you want to pay your husband back. God is your first husband, and you can't cheat on him because a man cheated on you. I know you are hot. I just pray that God heals you and gives you the grace to navigate this season of your life. God bless you. As a Christian,
Amen. And that's a good encouragement, and that's another thing women do like to do, is to decide that they're going to also act the same way, right? And it's sad because the husband cheats or has fornicating. I don't even like the word cheat, because it's, again, maybe it's in the process of him courting this woman and he's taking her on as a wife, and he's actually not cheating if he did consummate and take her on as a wife. But if he was just fornicating with a single woman, and not taking her on, that again has nothing to do with you. And you going out and saying, well, I can do the same thing, and you going down to the deacon down the road and doing the same thing, is not the same thing, because it's not the same thing in Yah's eyes, because you're a married woman. And as a married woman, you stepping out now are committing adultery. Well, he was just committing fornication. And there is a difference there between fornication and adultery. Adultery, there's a death penalty assigned to that. Remember the lady caught in adultery when they were going to stone her? Remember Jesus's story about that in Matthew? Adultery actually has a death penalty to it in the Bible. Fornication, it's a penalty, but not the same, not death penalty. The whole point is that it's bad. A man should cover her, and it is immoral to sleep around. And so you doing the same thing, oh my goodness. Don't do it. Don't go and act revengefully. Don't go take the man's house. Don't go file for divorce. Don't go screen the house down. I think the best thing to do is take a time out for yourself, pray, have a season of fasting, ask the Father how to proceed. And I'm going to read this scripture for you just before we go. I'm going to stop sharing this one and read this one. And you probably will get something out of it. First Corinthians. Put my glasses on. So First Corinthians 7 is, and Paul is teaching here. I'm just going to read a little bit. Okay, so verse 1. Now concerning the things about which you wrote, it's good for a man not to touch a woman. But because of immoralities, each man is to have his own wife, and each woman is to have her own husband. A husband must fulfill his duty to his wife, and likewise also the wife to her husband. Have sex with each other. The wife does not have the authority over her own body, but the husband does. And likewise also the husband does not have the authority over his own body, but the wife does. So stop depriving one another. No more sexless marriages. Stop depriving one another except by agreement for a time, so that you may devote yourself to prayer and come together again, so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. So it's not good to have those long seasons of no intimacy in a relationship, in your marriage, because the Satan will tempt you because of your lack of self-control. Verse 6, but this I say by way of concern, not of command. Yet I wish that all men were even as I myself am. However, each man has his own gift from Yah, one in this manner and another in that. But I say to the unmarried and to the widows that it's good for them if they remain even as I. But if you do not have self-control, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion. You see that? But to the married I give instructions, not I, but the Lord, that the wife should not leave her husband. But if she does leave, she must remain unmarried. Or else be reconciled to her husband, and that the husband should not divorce his wife. So verse 10, I'm going to remind you again. Let's read it again. But to the married I give instructions, but not I, but the Lord, that the wife should not leave her husband. But if she does leave, she must remain unmarried, or else be reconciled to her husband, and that the husband should not divorce his wife. Now, you see, my sisters, it's not a simple thing as I'm just mad, I'm going to walk out of this relationship and leave the man. If you decide to leave the man, you're not supposed to remarry. And then we go back to the verses above. Well, if you're not remarrying and you're getting sexual urges, you're tempted, and you may fall into fornication. Actually, in that point, because you're married, it's called adultery, and it's a very serious sin in Yah's eyes. Although the world has watered it down, thinking that's not a big deal, some women actually plan to have a scratch of that urge once or twice a year and think it's not a big deal. As long as they ask the Father to forgive them, you can continue having one night stands and sleeping with random men and having short-term relationships of 3 months and 4 months and not being married. And we call ourselves Christians, we call ourselves Torah observant, we call ourselves believers. I'm not talking about the world here. I'm talking about those who claim to know Yeshua, Jesus, and still living the life like the worldly women are, and still leaving their husbands. And when they're finished condemning the man for adultery, they say, when he's not actually committing adultery, condemning him for that, and then you yourself go and commit adultery after you've left the man, because you were not rightfully divorced, you just left him. And Paul says, well, if you leave him, you're not supposed to remarry. Now, there is a clause in the Bible about remarrying if you got properly divorced. And some women, they don't understand that, because there is in Deuteronomy laws about divorce and remarriage. So because you're divorced, that's a different thing. But this is a woman that wasn't divorced who leaves in First Corinthians, okay? There's lots to unpack there. And again, if you do need some more guidance and you need some wisdom and you need some encouragement, you need some more study in the Word, give me a call. If you want a one-on-one consultations, I do counseling and coaching to sisters who are in need of that. Although if you have a Yah-fearing husband, you should always go to him first and talk to him, and he should be your source of spiritual guidance. And for your single sisters out there, if you need some help, you can still call me as well. So that is Clarity FM. I'm going to leave the link for where you can reach me for those sessions and book them in the descriptions below. And I do have a book that I'd love everybody to buy a copy. You can use it to support the ministry, but it's also about biblical marriage. I cover several topics on that. It's just I just threw a whole lot of topics in there around that for the sisters about how to get married if you're single, why you can't divorce Adam, your husband, the biblical recourse of that you have if you're going through abuse and have a difficult situation in your marriage. What can you do? I go through all those things in the book, and again, I talk a lot about polygamy, but give you the biblical scriptures about how you can defend it and how the Bible talks about it and how it's not a sin in the Bible. So with all the scriptures to back that up. So it's called Stop Talking to Serpents, A Woman's Guide Back to Biblical Marriage. I encourage you to buy the ebook or buy the paperback. And again, the link is in the description below. Thanks for hanging out with me in Call for Wisdom. Blessings to my sisters and have a wonderful Shabbat or whatever day you're reading this and watching this. Shalom.